Hello everyone, CM Freeze here, and today I thought it was time for another 2024 NFL mock draft. I haven't done one in a while, and there's been a lot of smoke and rumors that have come out, and some free agency signings that have come out, trades. So I thought, let's dive right into a mock draft. For starters, very first pick I'm doing is Caleb Williams is going to go to the Bears. The Bears traded away Justin Fields. What a weird time that they did it too. I thought they either should have traded Fields earlier than all these other guys got traded, or waited until after the draft to trade him, because they traded him for a 6th round pick. A 6th round pick. That is insane. Kenny Pickett even went for a 3rd and 2/7. Desmond Ritter went for Rondell Moore. Like Justin Fields got traded for less or equal value than some guys who I think we could agree are better than Justin Fields. But whatever, I guess the Bears have just telegraphed to everyone that they're taking Caleb Williams. No team is going to be able to trade for him because the Chicago Bears have already traded away Justin Fields, so they don't have a quarterback. Caleb Williams to the Bears just makes so much sense. He's the best player in the draft. He can make some phenomenal throws. Caleb Williams to the Bears is a perfect fit, and they instantly become better after getting him. With the 2nd overall pick, I'm still doing Drake May. I've seen a lot of people say that this is Jaden Daniels, but until Drake May isn't the 2nd overall pick, I'm not going to believe that he's not the 2nd overall pick. If you look at Drake May and Jaden Daniels side by side, they're both really good quarterback prospects, but they both have a little bit different to offer. Drake May, I believe, someone that in structure, he's a great player, but underrated player out of structure. You can watch him plays with Drake Mays where he's still good on his feet athletically, and he's still able to make big time throws out of the pocket. Now, accuracy is sometimes an issue from time to time for Drake May, but also look at the talent that he's had around him. Yes, this season he had Tez Walker, but nobody else really outside of that. Offensive line play wasn't the best either. Now, I know to counteract that argument, you can say, well, Drake May didn't go up against the best talent either, which is very true. But in a division where he didn't have a lot of talent and there wasn't a lot of talent against him, Drake Mays still played some really good football, and he still made some phenomenal throws. And when you look at the Commanders and their scheme and Cliff Kingsbury, I think that they're going to prefer Drake May with their current roster than Jaden Daniels. I could be very wrong on that, but I still think that Jaden Daniels has a few more flaws than Drake May, which is going to push him to pick 3 here for the Patriots. The Patriots need a quarterback. They signed Jacoby Brissett to a 1-year deal. If you're the Patriots, you don't know if you're going to be picking here again. You have the option to get a top 3 quarterback in the class. Quarterback has been your biggest issue. Take quarterback. Since Tom Brady left, they haven't had good quarterback play. Mac Jones kind of helped them out his rookie season, but since then hasn't done anything. Jaden Daniels is phenomenal. I really like Jaden Daniels, but he does have some issues. One big issue when you watch on tape is Jaden Daniels he doesn't really throw the ball in the middle of the field well. He kind of has some issues there, throwing over the top. Jaden Daniels, a lot of people like to say this, but he takes big hits. That is a legit concern, is he does need to learn how to go down more. He makes some great plays with his legs, but you got to protect yourself as a quarterback, so he'll need to learn how to protect himself more. With Jaden Daniels, you can also say that he had some elite talent at LSU, which definitely helped him out a lot. But at the same time, though, he was able to elevate that elite talent to the best of its ability. So I really like Jaden Daniels, but, Drake May is younger than Jaden Daniels. I think only by 1 year at most. Both of them, it's like, what do you want more? Drake May, I think, has the better arm. He's better in the pocket, but Jaden Daniels is better with his legs, and he's better out of the pocket. What do you want? What do you want? I honestly do think the Commanders go with Drake May, but Drake May and Jaden Daniels could be flopped in this situation. But in the real world, picks 1, 2, and 3, I believe, are going to be quarterback. Bears are going to take Williams, and then Drake May and Jaden Daniels are going to go to the Commanders and the Patriots. I don't see either of them trading out at this point, especially with the Washington Commanders. They traded away Sam Howell and signed Mariota to a 1-year deal. You know, the Patriots traded away Mac Jones and then signed another guy, Jacoby Brissett, to a 1-year deal. I honestly think that the Commanders and the Patriots are going to take a quarterback and have them sit behind those guys for a season, or have them play after Marcus Mariota plays like ass for the first 5 weeks or something like that. Which then Cardinals at 4, that allows them to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I've seen a lot of mock drafts where the Cardinals have traded down, and I just don't see that happening. The Cardinals don't have a wide receiver. Like, we understand this, right? The Cardinals let Hollywood Brown walk in free agency and then traded away Rondell Moore. Like, we very much understand that the Cardinals have no wide receivers at all right now, right? At wide receiver, the Cardinals have Michael Wilson, who was a rookie last year and played pretty good. And Paris Campbell. I think they signed Paris Campbell. That's about it, though. That's about it. The Cardinals don't have wide receiver. We do understand this, right? The Cardinals don't have a wide receiver, and I think the fact that they let Hollywood Brown walk and the fact that they just chose not to sign any wide receivers in free agency goes to tell me that their plan is to draft a wide receiver here at 4, whether that be Marvin Harrison Jr. or somehow he gets taken before 4, which isn't going to happen. Then there'd go Malik Neighbors. The Cardinals need a wide receiver 1. Marvin Harrison Jr. can instantly step in and be wide receiver 1 for the Arizona Cardinals. He's big, he's fast, he plays phenomenal. He's just like his dad, except he's taller than him, and probably quicker too. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an elite wide receiver prospect, and we have not seen anything like him. Anything like him in the last 10 years, besides maybe Jamar Chase when he came out. When's the last time we've had a wide receiver go in the top 5? I think it was Jamar Chase when he went 5 to the Bengals. Either went 4 or 5. He went 5 to the Bengals. Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts at 4, and I will never forget that. But Cardinals are telegraphing that they're taking wide receiver, and if they don't take wide receiver here, I have no clue what the hell they're doing, because who the hell is Kyler Murray going to throw the ball to? I think they already have a plan in place, and that is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. Los Angeles Chargers here at 5. I honestly think that this is between Joe Alt and Malik Neighbors, and I am completely sold on that. This is either Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors. I really do think the Chargers here want to go Joe Alt, but they traded away Keenan Allen and they cut Mike Williams. So now at wide receiver, they have Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer. I don't think the Chargers are going to be happy with that. However, they did bring in Greg Roman. And they also do have Harbaugh now, and both of them love to run the ball, and they love their offensive line. And the Chargers have Rashawn Slater on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, they have Troy Pipkins, and Joe Alt could be a phenomenal right tackle for them that they could slide over at right tackle, protect Justin Herbert, and just add another mauler to the run game. The Chargers can try to do what they did in Michigan, or Harbaugh can try to do what he did in Michigan and just run the hell out of the football, and then use Justin Herbert when needed and try to limit him passing the ball 40 times a game. So this is either going to be Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors for me. It could be either or, honestly. It could be interchangeable. I just still really like Joe Alt to the Chargers. I just love that fit, especially with the now coaching personnel the Los Angeles Chargers got going on there. I know they signed somebody at running back. I think Gus Edwards. That sounds about right. And I think even J.K. Dobbins was interviewing with the Los Angeles Chargers. So the Chargers could just have a ton of running backs and just constantly cycle them out. And in order to do that, they're going to need Joe Alt at right tackle to give them 2 just maulers in the run game with Rashawn Slater on the left side and Joe Alt on the right side. I think the New York Giants are ecstatic that Malik Neighbors has fallen to them. I think in a lot of mock drafts, the Giants have taken Malik Neighbors, and it's just such a good fit for them. I know everyone talks about, the last time they drafted an LSU wide receiver in Odell, but regardless, Malik Neighbors is someone that the Giants needs. He's a typical slot wide receiver, but you can move him to the outside in the X or the Y position if needed. Malik Neighbors is great with the ball in the air. He's great at getting open. He'll be great for either Daniel Jones or whoever else is going to be throwing him the ball. I know the Giants did just sign another quarterback to maybe compete with Daniel Jones, but I forgot exactly who that they signed at quarterback. Oh, how could I forget? They signed Drew Lock at quarterback. So whoever's throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors now has an absolute stud weapon, and the Giants just are not the best team. They need help wherever. Malik Neighbors is a great wide receiver prospect. In a lot of drafts, he'd be the first wide receiver taken off the board. He just unfortunately has a generational talent ahead of him in Marvin Harrison Jr. The Titans here at 7. Titans have honestly had one of the best free agencies and a very underrated free agency, in my opinion. Now, they have had to spend a lot of money, but they have gone out and signed Calvin Ridley. They traded for Ladarius Shaneed. They got Lloyd Cushenberry at center to help. Now, Lloyd Cushenberry is a pretty good center. They definitely overpaid for him, but he's an upgrade of what they've had. So the Titans have gone out and they've gotten a lot of good pieces, and they've made their team a lot better. And now, if you're the Titans, their offensive line is still bad. They still have a bad offensive line. But so looking at the Titans roster, they still have DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks, Calvin Ridley. Their defense was upgraded with Kadarius Sneed and Kevin Murray. I know it's not Kevin Murray. It's K Murray. I forget his Kenneth Murray. I still think they need to upgrade offensive line, and for me, that's going to be Ole Fashanu. Now, it did come out and say that I think he tweaked his ankle and he had an ankle injury, but I don't believe that it's anything serious. Regardless, even if it is something that might take a little bit, there's still 4 or 5 months until the start of the regular season. At Penn State, Ole Fashanu didn't allow a single sack. And Will Levis, if he is the guy, if the Titans have gotten him the offensive weapons in Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, they need to protect him. They already have Lloyd Cushenberry at center, Peter Skoronski at left guard, and now they get a bona fide, really damn good pass blocker in Ole Fashanu at left tackle. That left side of the offensive line is going to be completely set for a long time to come for the Titans, and I think they're going to be really happy with what team they have next year, depending on Will Levis. If Will Levis can take a step up, the Titans could be a really damn good team. Falcons here at 8. I've done this in pretty much all of my mock drafts, and I'm going to stick with it, and that's Dallas Turner. I do honestly think that this could be a corner for Falcons. This is a sneaky corner play, but in free agency, the Falcons have upgraded heavily at offense. They got Darnell Mooney at wide receiver, and they got Kirk Cousins at quarterback. They also signed a tight end from the 49ers. They signed their backup tight end. So the Falcons have gone all in on offense in free agency, but they haven't done anything on defense. The Falcons to this day have yet to sign a defensive free agent. I don't understand what they're doing. They have yet to sign a defensive free agent, and that is absolutely insane to me. Now, the Falcons are pretty low on cap because of the Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney signing. So the Falcons don't really have a lot of cap, but some of their best defensive guys are free agents this year. For example, Calais Campbell, who had 6.5 sacks. He's not on the team right now. They also had Bud Dupree last season, 6.5 sacks. He's not on the team right now. The Falcons' 2 best edge rushers last year in terms of sacks are free agents, and they haven't re-signed him. The Falcons' only real edge rusher that they have is Arnold Ebiketie, who will be going to his 3rd season, who I'm going to love to see that 3rd season. He had 6 sacks last year. I really hope he can break out this year. But when Arnold Ebiketie is the only guy who has the ability to rush the ball, he's going to get double teamed, or he's going to be on their best offensive lineman. Falcons need edge help, and I just love the Dallas Turner fit to Atlanta. I love it. Dallas Turner is 21. He's able to set the edge. He's able to get pressure. He had double-digit sacks for Alabama back-to-back seasons. I've seen a lot of this being either Leatu Latu or Jared Verse, which I'm fine with either of those. My preference is Dallas Turner, mainly because of age. Dallas Turner's 21, and Leatu Latu and Jared Verse are both 23. So if you're Atlanta, you get 2 more years out of Dallas Turner. If you draft him, he'll be 26 going into his rookie contract instead of 28. And those extra 2 years of development could be massive because Dallas Turner is already on a very similar level to Leatu Latu and Jared Verse and still has 2 less years under his belt than they do. That's why I really want Dallas Turner. I wouldn't be upset, though, with Jared Verse and Leatu Latu, but I really do hope that this is Dallas Turner. And now, the Chicago Bears here at 9, I honestly believe that this could be anything, really. The Chicago Bears could do so much in this position because they did trade for Keenan Allen. So now the Chicago Bears have DJ Moore, they have Keenan Allen, they also have, I believe, what is his name? Tyler Scott. They also have Cole Kmet. So if you're the Bears, you could look at your offense and say, hey, our offense is set. Let's go get another defensive piece for us. I could very well see this being an edge to pair alongside of Montez Sweat. And that's actually what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to give the Bears Jared Verse. Jared Verse is a mauler. He's really good in the run game as well. Really good at just block shedding and just being a havoc there off the edge for Florida State. And he seems like a Bears player to me. He fits that Bears culture. And I think Montez Sweat is going to love having a buddy off of the opposite side of him. And Montez Sweat and Jared Verse could really do some damage. This could be a wide receiver. Keenan Allen is only on 1 year left of his contract. But I think the Bears could go either or. This could have been Rome Odunze. I know this has been a Rome Odunze for a really long time, but I just love Jared Verse, and Jared Verse and Montez Sweat I think can cause a lot of damage. Now here at pick 10, I think that the Jets could do a lot of things here. I think offensive line is very much in play. The Jets did go out and sign Tyrone Smith to a 1-year contract, but the offensive line for the Jets still needs to be upgraded. However, the Jets' offensive weapons also aren't the best in the world. They did just sign Mike Williams, so they have Garrett and Williams there at wide receiver. For Jets, I do think this is going to be offense. I think clearly this is offense. I don't hate Brock Bowers to the Jets. And I think that this could very easily be Brock Bowers here at 10 to the Jets. It's so hard to determine where exactly Brock Bowers is going to go. There's reports coming out that he isn't testing well, but there's also people saying Brock Bowers is purposely doing that to lower his draft stock so that he gets drafted to a better team. I think this could be so many things here for the Jets. I could see this being Brock Bowers. I could see them going Rome Odunze. I could see them going Tuis Fuagu at offensive line. And you really got to think, what are the Jets going to do long term here? Long term, what's best for the Jets? Or are they in win now mode? Are they just like, screw this, we need to win now? Which I think that's what the Jets are going to do. Robert Saleh probably knows that he's done after the season if he sucks. I don't know who the GM for the Jets is, but he probably knows that if the Jets suck again this year, he's gone too. I think the New York Jets are going to try to save face and do a splashy play, and I think that's Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a lot sexier than an offensive line, I can tell you that. But Brock Bowers at tight end also has blocking abilities. Brock Bowers at Georgia was really damn good at getting open. He just knew how to get open. Great hands. Really good route running. Doesn't have elite speed, but for a tight end, has solid speed. And he can block. Georgia used him to help block in the run game and not necessarily the pass game, but in the run game, they used him to, he helped block out a lot. And Brock Bowers did really good. He was kind of banged up there for his last season, but he played through some injuries and he still played great even while hurt. I think Brock Bowers will be a big splashy play for the New York Jets. And in a team that's in win now mode, saying, hey, this is probably our last year with Rodgers. If we don't make the playoffs, our asses are gone. I think that this is the win now move for the New York Jets. Which at 11, I believe that allows the Vikings to draft J.J. McCarthy. There has been a lot of smoke about or I shouldn't say smoke, because I think this could very well be true. But there's been a lot about the Vikings or the Broncos trying to trade up for a quarterback, which I think is a very true statement. I think that the Broncos and the Vikings don't really have anything at quarterback right now. The Broncos have Jared Stidham, and the Vikings have Sam Darnold. And if you're the Vikings and you have Justin Jefferson and you want to sign him long term, you're going to need a quarterback. Justin Jefferson right now is like, what the hell? I have Sam Darnold as my quarterback. Why would I want to stay here? The Vikings need a quarterback, and JJ McCarthy's the guy. You don't have to start him right away necessarily, because you do, I guess, have Sam Darnold. So you could have JJ McCarthy sit for a little bit, or you can have him start right away. JJ McCarthy wasn't asked a lot at Michigan, but when he was asked, he did show flashes. He did show potential. Now, again, like I just said, his biggest concern is that he wasn't used a lot. And in Michigan, they did have some great play calling. And when you're running the ball all the time, defenses are prepared against the run. So when it's a fake and it's like, hey, we're not running, then, you know, the defenses are in run defense, not really pass defenses that JJ McCarthy has had to play a lot of the time. But JJ McCarthy has shown a lot of potential. He has made a lot of nice tight throws. I think JJ McCarthy here at 11 does make a lot of sense. And now, the Denver Broncos at 12. I think that they are upset that they don't have a quarterback. Broncos do not have a quarterback right now. And with the Denver Broncos not getting their quarterback, I'm going to actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers trade up here to pick 12. I know I didn't make any trades in the top 12 or in the top 11 here, and I honestly don't think that a lot of trades are going to happen. Certainly not here in the top 3. Cardinals maybe could trade out because of how deep the wide receiver class is, but I don't think a team is trading up to 4 for JJ McCarthy. Maybe the Vikings are, maybe, but I don't honestly think the Vikings are telling themselves, you know what, let's trade away our future next year for JJ McCarthy this year. I don't know. I don't think the Chargers are trading down. I don't think the Giants are. I don't think the Titans are. I don't think the Falcons are. The Bears maybe could be a trade down spot. Maybe the Broncos could trade with the Bears to draft JJ McCarthy. I could see that happening. Or maybe the Broncos could trade up to 10 to try to jump the Vikings for JJ McCarthy. I didn't have it in this mock draft, but I do think it's something that could happen. But so the first trade is I'm having the Steelers trade up to 10 for Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze in this mock draft has fallen a little bit. Typically, he usually is in the top 10 here. Steelers need wide receiver help bad for either Russ or Justin Fields. They have George Pickens, but they traded away Deontay Johnson. Their wide receiver depth is lacking, to say the least. And if you're the Steelers and you're like, hey, we have a really good defense, we now have Russ for a season, let's see what he can do. Let's get him some weapons to throw the ball to. And Rome Odunze is going to be that weapon for me. And they saw that he's fallen down the board. The Broncos don't have a quarterback there anymore. So they gladly get some extra ammunition to help fill out their team and trade down with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which the Oakland Raiders at 13 allow them to draft Terrion Arnold. I've been doing this for a really long time now. I love the fit. I think if Terrion Arnold's there at 13, I think the Raiders are going to take him. Raiders need corner help. Their secondary is not that good. Their defensive line, really good. They have Max Crosby. They just signed Christian Wilkinson in free agency, which I love that fit so much. And they also they had Tyree Wilson as well. So Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Tyree Wilson on that defensive line could be great. They could use some linebackers, but no linebackers here is worth a top 13 pick. So what do? You go secondary. Terrion Arnold feels like such a Raiders player. Mahler at the corner position, he can be a corner CB1 for the Raiders and instantly come in and make a great impact. Phenomenal in man-to-man coverage. Which Saints at 14, I'm going to give them Tuis Fuaga here at 14. Saints need offensive line help. Defensively, they did sign Chase Young to a 1-year deal, so they're going to see what he can do. They have Chase Young, they have Cam Jordan, they still have Marshawn Lattimore at corner, they still have the Honey Badger at safety, they still have Demario Davis at linebacker, so their defense still has pieces. While they are getting old and I could see them trying to replace them, I think they're going to try to win now. They think that the NFC South is a weak division, which it is. And with them trying to win now, I believe that they're going to upgrade at offensive line. Tuis Fuaga is someone that can instantly start at left tackle for them, or move into left guard if they really want to keep on trying to give Trevor Penning an option there at left tackle. We'll see what happens for the Saints, but they have a big hole on the left side of that offensive line. Tuis Fuaga, Moeller in Oregon State, he can instantly come in and just protect that left side of the offensive line for Derek Carr. Colts here at 15, I think that this could again be a lot of things for the Colts, but I'm going to purposely, I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell here for the Colts. I think offensively, the Colts are pretty happy with where they're at. They have a solid offensive line. Anthony Richardson showed a lot of flashes when he was with the Colts last year before he got hurt. They still have Jonathan Taylor. They still have Michael Pittman Jr., and they still have Alec Pierce. They could go wide receiver here. This could be Brian Thomas Jr., but I think the Colts are going to look at that defense and be like, hey, our defense needs to play better. We allowed a lot of points last year, and the Colts were in some barn burner games where their offense had to score a lot of points, which they did, which was nice, but their defense just needs to be better. Their defensive line is still pretty solid with DeForest Buckner and Kwity Paye. So when your defensive line's getting pressure, what do? Help them out in the secondary. And Quinyon Mitchell looked phenomenal out of Toledo and had a pro day where he also looked great as well. Quinyon Mitchell could be CB1 off the boards. I know a lot of mock drafts have had that. For me, he's CB2 here for the Colts. Great fit with the Colts. I think he's going to play really well there, and I really like this fit for the Colts and Quinyon Mitchell. With the Seahawks at 16, another fit that I love is Byron Murphy II. The Seahawks, they did sign Leonard Williams again to a contract, but now imagine Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams in the middle. The Seahawks have a big hole on the defensive line, and Byron Murphy can instantly fill that hole. Why does it say tackle out of Iowa? He's out of Texas. Oh well, I guess a little mix up there, but Byron Murphy goes to Texas, not Iowa. Byron Murphy, just a mauler. Absolute mauler in the run game, and he can also get pressure as well in Texas. I believe that the new head coach for the Seattle Seahawks, the old Ravens defensive coordinator, is going to love him. The Ravens have always had such a good defensive line, big physical defensive linemen, and Byron Murphy can instantly come in and start right away, learn behind Leonard Williams, and just be an absolute beast on the defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. Which the Jacksonville Jaguars now here at 17 with Brian Thomas Jr. still on the board. That is what I'm going to do for the Jaguars. They just lost Calvin Ridley in free agency. They haven't replaced him, and I think Brian Thomas Jr., with his really good speed at LSU, is going to instantly come in and start and replace Calvin Ridley for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence now in his 4th season. Trevor Lawrence didn't look that good last year. He was the first overall pick, and he's only taken the Jags to playoffs in 1 of his 3 years. Now, his first year, the team did suck, but last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars were, 9-2 or 8-2 or something like that, and just lost every single game the rest of the season. Jacksonville Jaguars with a massive collapse. If Trevor Lawrence is going to continue to develop, and if he's going to be the face of the future, you need to give him weapons. Yes, they have Christian Kirk, but they need to give him a partner, and I think Brian Thomas Jr. can do that. Which Bengals at 18, I'm actually really upset that Brian Thomas Jr. got drafted here at 17, because I would love that fit with the Bengals, who are just recreating that LSU offense. Bengals at 18, I am going to draft them Johnny Newton out of Illinois. They lost DJ Reader in free agency. He went to the Detroit Lions. They need to replace his production. DJ Reader was a great big defensive tackle for the Bengals. Before that, they had a really good defensive tackle too. I'm spacing on his name. I was just thinking about that, but the Bengals have always had a great defensive tackle up the middle. I forgot who that guy was on their team, and it pisses me off that I forget it. If you know who I'm talking about, leave me in the comments down below. But he was on those Andy Dalton teams. Great defensive tackle for the Bengals. They had DJ Reader. Now they have Johnny Newton. Phenomenal at pass rushing. Johnny Newton got many sacks for Illinois. He is just great at block shedding and splitting tackles and getting pressure on the quarterback. The Bengals have really good defensive linemen. They drafted Myles Murphy last year. They had Trey Hendrickson. They now have another mauler in the run game and able to get pressure interiorly, and Johnny Newton, that defensive line is going to be really scary for the Bengals, which Rams at 19, the Rams are trying to show that they're still competitive even after losing Aaron Donald. The Rams went out and signed Tre'Davious White to a 1-year contract. I know the Rams also signed another good player to a 1-year contract as well. I forget exactly who it was. But if you're the Rams here and Leatu Latu has fallen to you at 19, that's exactly what I'm going to give them as Leatu Latu. Now, he's not going to obviously replace Aaron Donald at all. Aaron Donald was interior defensive lineman. Leatu Latu is an edge rusher. But the Los Angeles Rams still desperately need edge rusher help, and Leatu Latu has just fallen to them at 19, and I think that they are ecstatic to be able to get him here at 19. And Leatu Latu, while he does have some medical concerns, I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to be able to work with him and get the fullest potential out of Leatu Latu. So another trade here with the Denver Broncos, but I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys jumping up to 20 here to draft J.C. Latham. The Dallas Cowboys just, like I said, lost Tyron Smith at left tackle. Cowboys have done absolutely nothing in free agency, so they need help on the offensive line. Jerry Jones has always prioritized offensive line, and I think he's going to want to go and get his guy in J.C. Latham. J.C. Latham, phenomenal tackle out of Alabama. He can play on either side, whatever the Cowboys prefer to do with him. Offensive line hasn't gone in a little while, and if you're the Cowboys and the Denver Broncos are looking to trade down, it won't cost that much. Might as well jump a couple of teams in case some offensive linemen do go here, especially with the Dolphins here at 21, who could very easily be an offensive line spot for the Dolphins here, which is exactly what I'm going to do for them. But instead of going with one of these offensive tackles here, I am going to go Jackson Powers Johnson. I believe that a lot of mock drafts have Jackson Powers Johnson going to the Dolphins here. Center out of Oregon, but he can play interior offensive line. The Dolphins did lose Robert Hunt. They don't really have a center. Dolphins need interior offensive line help, and Jackson Powers Johnson is clearly, I think, the best interior offensive lineman in the class, which at 22, that allows the Eagles to go with Cooper DeJean. I did this in my last mock draft. I really like the Cooper DeJean fit to the Eagles. Eagles need help at both safety and corner. Cooper DeJean can play both. He played corner at Iowa, but I think he could fall back and play safety. He might be better at a safety position. I think Eagles here just take best player available. They need secondary help, and I believe that they're going to go Cooper DeJean, and they can put him wherever they want out of Iowa. Which Minnesota Vikings here at 23, I believe honestly they probably they got picked 23 to get ammunition, but in this mock to trade up for JJ McCarthy. But in this mock draft, the Vikings already got JJ McCarthy and they didn't have to trade down. So now what do you do here if you are the Vikings? I think that this could be a lot of things, but I am going to give the Vikings Nate Wiggins here. They don't have corner. Corner's always kind of been an issue for the Vikings for the last couple of years. I know that they've tried to address it, and it's just failed every single time they've tried to. I know they drafted one guy who I forget who they drafted, but they used a first-round pick on him. I think he went to jail. They also signed Patrick Peterson in free agency, who's just past his point at this time, and they need a corner. Nate Wiggins looks like a really damn good corner one, and the Vikings just need corner help. Finally, at 24 here, the Denver Broncos are picking, and I've determined that I am going to give them Michael Penix Jr. here. They need a quarterback desperately, and I think one of the things that you really didn't like about Russ is that he wasn't willing to take risks, and that he wasn't the most accurate at times. And Michael Penix Jr., very, very accurate in Washington. Very accurate in Washington. Really good arm, was able to make some incredible throws. And the Denver Broncos need a quarterback. They have Jared Stidham starting right now. Draft Michael Penix Jr. You were able to trade down and accumulate picks as well, so you can build a better team around Michael Penix Jr. And I think the Broncos are going to be very happy here at pick 24 with drafting Michael Penix Jr., which at 25 and the Green Bay Packers, well, we know this isn't going to be a wide receiver. That's for damn sure. But I believe that the Green Bay Packers do need to address defense. Their defense is really bad. I shouldn't say really bad, but their defense isn't the best in the world. And I could either see this being Kool-Aid McKinstry at corner, but I also do believe that this could be Edrion Cooper out of Texas A&M. I do think that Cooper does have the ability to slide into the first round. Really good linebacker out of Texas A&M. He will be the first linebacker taken off the board. If one goes in the first round, it will be Edrion Cooper. We'll have to see if that happens or not. But I will give the Packers Kool-Aid McKinstry here. They need another good corner. They have Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the game, but Jair Alexander's also been hurt a lot the last couple of years, so I'm giving them Kool-Aid McKinstry to give Jair Alexander a partner when he's ready and able to play, but when he's hurt, Kool-Aid McKinstry can slide in and be that number one corner for you. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here at 26, I'm going to give them Chop Robinson. I feel like that he's such a good fit, especially now with Shaquille Barrett being cut in free agency. Chop Robinson is someone that can instantly come in and start for the Bucks, or at least split rotations with other guys there in their 3-4 defensive scheme that they have. Chop Robinson's a 3-4 edge out of Penn State. Really athletic freak, and Chop Robinson, someone with explosive speed, and the Bucks are going to be really happy to get him. Cardinals here at 24, their offense is so bad. At least their weapons. They have no weapons. Absolutely no weapons. And if you're the Arizona Cardinals here, I don't hate Xavier Worthy here. I think that this is an overplay. I think that Adonai Mitchell and Keon Coleman probably should go before him. But if you're the Cardinals and you're like, okay, we have a true number one in Marvin Harrison Jr. We have Michael Wilson, who's like a number 2 wide receiver, reliable target. What are we missing? Speed. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is fast, but he's not as fast as Xavier Worthy, who just broke the 40-yard dash record. Xavier Worthy can come in and play at the slot, or he can just be that quick, explosive weapon for Kyler Murray. And the Cardinals double up on wide receiver, but they have no wide receiver help at all. This could be defense as well, but Cardinals don't have wide receiver, and just double dipping at wide receiver in the first round, I actually really like that concept. One of them are going to work out, and Xavier Worthy and Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, are going to play very well off one another. Much 28, that allows the Buffalo Bills to draft Adonai Mitchell here out of Texas. Buffalo Bills need wide receiver help. They lost Gabe Davis. All they really have is Stephon Diggs, but it seems like he's been really unhappy in Buffalo. I don't know what the hell is going on with Stephon Diggs, but you need to give him a buddy in Adonai Mitchell. Josh Allen needs people to throw the ball to, and Adonai Mitchell will be a great fit there in Buffalo. Might be a little cold for him, but I think he'll survive. And now with the Detroit Lions here, they could do a lot of things here, but I do think that they kind of need interior offensive line. And Troy Fautanu here out of Washington did play tackle for Washington, but I do believe that he's someone that could slide into guard if the Detroit Lions need him to. They already have Penei Sewell at right tackle. They already have a really good center and Frank Ragnow. But they did just lose. I forgot who they lost, but they lost their right guard. And I could see this being Troy Fautanu here, or maybe you just want to give them a true guard in Graham Barton out of Duke, and that's what I'm going to do for the Detroit Lions here. I could see this being Troy Fautanu, but I'm going to give them offensive line. They've had a really good offensive line. I think they want to continue getting a good offensive line. They're getting younger at the position with Graham Barton, really good guard out of Duke, and I think he'll be a really good scheme there in Detroit. Baltimore here at 30, I'm going to have the Commanders trading up 6 spots. They have pick 36. I'm going to have them trading back up into the first round to draft Troy Fautanu here out of Washington. Commanders have a terrible offensive line, one of the worst offensive lines. You drafted Drake May in the first round, or with pick 2. You want to protect him with Troy Fautanu here. I think that pick 31 and 32 and some other picks that are coming up could very easily be offensive line picks. So if you're the Commanders, trade back up into the first round, secure the offensive lineman that you want, and get Drake May his protection. And now here at 31, I am going to be drafting Tyler Guyton to the San Francisco 49ers. They need offensive line help I shouldn't say desperately, but they need tackle. Tyler Guyton can instantly come in and start for the San Francisco 49ers and give them some tackle help. And at 32, the Kansas City Chiefs, they do have Hollywood Brown. They do have Rashid Rice, but I think wide receiver is still in play here for the Chiefs. I could also see this being a Marius Mims as well and giving them tackle, but you have Patrick Mahomes, you need to get him some weapons, and I'm going to get him Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, a big jump ball wide receiver. He's someone with great hands, and I think that the Chiefs are going to be ecstatic to get him and get a really good hands wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. Anyways, guys, that is my mock draft. Not too many trades, but I still had a couple just to spice things up a bit. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my mock draft, and peace.